So before I get into this video, I just want to plug a really quick new project that's now live. It is a mini documentary that I was a part of. It is called The Birth of Omnia, which follows Michael Brandrup, a Danish artist who opened up his exhibit in Copenhagen called OMNIA. And I was brought on to help kind of tell the story of how it came together, at least in the Los Angeles part of it. And I also acted as the editor for this. So if you guys want to check it out, it's going to be linked below. My name is Rafal. I am a freelance video professional here in the Los Angeles area with a Sony camera kit, a lighting kit, and an audio kit. And I specialize in mini documentaries, podcasts, interviews, talking head setups. And also on occasion, I'm hired to film some green screen content for an AI company to help create avatars. Basically, the people stand in front of a green screen. I have my teleprompter set up. I have them read about 2 minutes worth of a script. We have that done maybe 3 or 4 times. And afterwards, that's sent out to a company that just creates avatars for the person that was in front of the camera. And they are able to communicate with their customers, with their fan base, what have you, through AI avatars. With these kinds of setups, it's not glamorous lighting. It's not meant to be glamorous lighting. It's basically two lights that help light the green screen. And because the company is just trying to capture facial expressions, we're not trying to make anything look cinematic. I have two lights evenly set on either side of the subject's face. It just flattens out their face and makes sure that all of their face is seen evenly, and that just makes it easier for the company to create these avatars. Before I had this pull out green screen, I used to work with this massive, like 10-foot by 20-foot cloth green screen that just took forever to set up. I had to iron out all the wrinkles. It had to be lit better because there were folds and it was just a mess. It was so much harder. And so this green screen I rented, it costs about 215 bucks, 218 bucks on Amazon. I rented it for a single day shoot, and it just makes the whole process way, way easier. And because of that, I was able to just come in, pull it up, set up my lighting, get the audio going, and just make the entire process way faster. So if you do have some green screen work that involves a single person talking in front of the camera, such as this, definitely consider either renting a pop-up green screen that you can just pull up, or you can purchase one. Like I said, it's like 218 bucks on Amazon, and just stow it away in a storage locker or something, but definitely way easier than a giant folding green screen.
Go ahead.
My line of work does not involve high-end camera gear. I'm not on sets that have Alexas or Reds or anything like that. I usually work as a one-man band. I have my own equipment. I bring all of that to my shoots, and then I pull off what I can with what I have. That also means that I don't work with cinema glass. I work with basic photography lenses, spherical lenses. So when I went to a lens testing session with my buddy Brian, I had no idea how little I knew about what goes into even swapping out a lens on a cine rig. And it was a very humbling experience because I realized that I just would not be able to survive on set as a second AC. I know what a second AC does, but there are just so many intricacies in the etiquette on film and like what's expected and what you need to know as a second AC that I wouldn't be able to pull it off. At least not where I am now. I went to a lens testing session with Brian and just got to look at all this high-end cinema glass and see how light behaves when you shine through it, how the flares interact, and how the how the bokeh like changes depending on it when you pull focus and stuff. Brian just wanted me to come and help him out with some lens testing for a music video that he was filming, and what he was looking for was exactly what I just said. And you can see here I'm just shining a light just off the edge of frame so that you can see how those flares behave. And he was like really paying close attention. Like he was even saying, he was taking notice at how the line was not a straight line, how there were breaks in the line. It was just stuff that I never have to think about these kinds of things because these are not the kinds of projects that I am hired for. They're not the kinds of projects that I find myself on. For this final job, we're being flown out to Phoenix to film an event, and I got my hands on a Tamron 35 to 150 for this event. And right off the bat, I really like it. But first of all, just look at how well my Sony can handle itself in these crazy low light situations. When it's compared to my GoPro, it's just you can see just how dark this event was, and I'm able to capture these two guys talking with absolutely no problem, and it's for two reasons. Number one, Sony, low light, can't beat it. Obviously, one of the best in the game. But number two, the 35 to 150 has an f-stop of 2 to 2.8, which basically I would just leave it at 2.8 anyway. But what I love about that is that I'm able to jack up the ISO on my Sony to 12,800 for its second native ISO, and then shoot at 2.8 completely zoomed in to 150 mil and get these close-ups of people interacting in a completely dark event. And for scenarios like these, when you are filming like a dinner or just some sort of event, you want to capture candid moments of people, you want to capture the laughter, and you want to capture genuine interactions. But the problem is, as soon as you get too close and they notice you, they get self-conscious or they just don't want to behave the way they were just a second ago because they get all nervous. And so having a longer zoom lens like this one helps you helps you keep a distance from these people and still be able to zoom in so that you aren't interrupting their moment, but you are still capturing it. But the thing is, if I have something like a 70 to 200, the problem with that lens is that the widest I can go is 70 mil, and that doesn't really work well if I'm trying to capture medium shots of people or maybe some establishing shots that I want to be a little wider. And so if I do have a 70 to 200, then I need to have a second camera with something like a 24 to 70 on that. For this event, I had that 35 to 150 that I rented, and I didn't need to swap out anything. I was able to film this entire event on that lens because I was able to, again, zoom out to 35 mil, capture establishing shots or just wider shots of people. And then if I needed to get more intimate moments or just conversations, close-ups, whatever, I can zoom all the way in to 150 and still keep it at 2.8 in a dark room like this and just capture the shots and capture the story. And the other thing is, zooming in at 150, that compression looks really cool. You get a nice depth of field in the background, and for this event, it just worked out really well. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to use the 35 to 150 to the level I would have liked to at the speaker event, only because I was the only person there, and so I couldn't man the camera that was on sticks and my floating camera. So I had to have my wide shot extra wide just to be safe and make sure that any speakers that were moving around the stage always stayed in frame. So I kind of left that 35 to 150 pretty much at like, I don't know, like 70 mil or 80 mil or something. And then I was floating around on my 24 to 70. There were a couple of times where I would run to the camera and maybe zoom in a little bit just to get some variance in the wide shot, but for the most part I really wasn't able to utilize it at this event. I did, however, try to salvage one thing. The speakers at this event did not have any spotlights on them, and so what I tried to do, not sure if it worked well or not, was I just took my two Godox lights that I use for my interviews and whatever. These are not lights meant for on stage speakers. These are tiny lights. They are tiny 100-watt lights. I took two of them, kind of put them on full blast, just out of frame, as close to the stage as I could get them, and just tried to light the stage with them to some degree. So that way the speakers had some sort of light hitting them. Whether it did the job well, I don't know. I don't think it did, but it's just a little extra step I try to take in these kinds of jobs where I don't try to restrict myself to purely the responsibilities that I am put down to. I do try to go the extra mile, just show a little bit of push to show the client that I am trying to make this the best it can be, even if it's something like throwing some tiny light out into the stage to hopefully get them some sort of key light. And again, after that event ended, I was able to use that 35 to 150 and just you see me playing around with it here to get some interaction with the client. I could zoom in. I'm pretty far away and I could zoom nicely in to get a tight shot of him, get a close up of his face, but also maintain a wide shot so that way I can catch the person that he's interacting with as well. So I'm definitely going to try this lens again. And then right here, you could just see me cranking it as far as I can. And that is at 150 from where I was. Obviously, I wouldn't use that, but that's just me demonstrating how far out I could zoom in and still have a nice 2.8 f-stop. So I have another event that I'm going to later this month. That's going to be in Vegas, and I'm going to rent the 35 to 150 again because I want to play around with it a bit more. If I do fall in love with it, I don't know, it might be the next lens I look at possibly purchasing, even though I made a video saying that I'm not getting any more equipment. But having a zoom lens like that might be helpful, especially if you're someone who films events a lot. I am getting ready to go to NAB in a week. That's going to be really exciting. I went to NAB for the first time last year and it was absolutely incredible. I loved the people that I met there, the connections that I made. I met with some of my favorite YouTubers over there, and if you haven't gone to NAB or an event like that, whether it's that or Cinegear or other events that focus on filmmaking, focus on videography, I highly recommend you guys give it a shot. I'm really excited about checking this one out. I might make a video on it. I'm not sure. I think I will. I think events like that are really important to go to because I don't know, sometimes this job can get kind of lonely, sometimes this job can get stressful and overwhelming, and so just surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, people that share the same passions as you, that just helps reinvigorate your passion and just kind of gets the flame going again, right? So I'm really excited about going there. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at this, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Check out Omnia, and I'll see you guys in the next one.